soon. There we go. Wee bit of a delay on this end, but I can fix that. Let's get ready to rumble. Hello everybody. I'm going live again because that feels like a fun thing to do. We're going to talk theme parks, we're going to talk roller coasters, we're going to talk my future plans. I got some travel coming up soon. We're going to talk Scooby-Doo Spooky Coaster. We are going to talk King Claw. We're going to talk Big Banana. We're going to talk Bounty's Revenge. I don't know what else is happening in theme parks right now. How's it going at Bobo, Natalie, AFK? It's good to see you all. What am I up to today? I am taking care of my mum's farm, actually. Taking care of the animals, of which there are many, sheep and dogs and cats and everything. So that's been fun, but mostly also just working on YouTube videos and working from home. Bobo was at Dreamworld today. Hell yeah. Just realized we're wearing the same shirt. Yeah, the classic steel Taipan shirt. So yeah, we're going to talk. Drop your thoughts on anything. If you've been to theme parks lately, let me know. Drop your thoughts, drop your questions, whether they're about the parks, whether they're about my content, whatever it may be. We're just going to hang out. I'm going to do these about once a month so that we can just chill and talk a little bit about what's happening in the theme park world, what's happening in my world, what's happening in your guys' world as well. I want to be able to kind of connect with you guys a little bit more often. How's it going, Roman? So I guess the best place to start, Fright Nights is happening. So when does that start again? I'm actually thinking about trying to go. Event nights. So it starts this Saturday. This Saturday the 4th, and then it runs Fridays and Saturdays for all of October. Looks like they're almost sold out for this Saturday, and they are almost sold out for next weekend as well. But there is tickets for the rest of the month. It's $89 for most nights, $99 later in the month, and then $109 if you want to go on the 25th or the 31st of October. I imagine the 31st is going to be pretty popular. What do I have planned soon trip-wise? I am going up to the Gold Coast mid-October to go to Movie World and Dreamworld. Movie World because I still haven't got on Kansas Twister yet, so we need to make that happen. Also probably go to Fright Nights if I can. And then also I've got a Dreamworld season pass in that as well. Microphone's a bit dodgy, yeah, it probably is, because I'm running off just my phone at the moment. There's also a bit of an echo in here. Let me know if it gets too bad. Natalie's got cows and a dog. We don't have any cows here, just sheep. But we've got lots of dogs, cats, chickens, ducks. Will I vlog there? Yeah. Well, actually, I'll do a vlog at Fright Nights if I go. I will probably not vlog at the parks during the day because I'm going to be focusing on getting footage for a couple of video ideas I have coming up. So instead of vlogging it, I will just focus on getting that footage. So yeah, Fright Nights. How's it going, Lorcan from Perth? Love it over there in Perth. I need to get back and go to Adventure World and Outback Splash actually, when I get a chance. So yeah, Fright Nights is coming up. I've heard some good things about some of the mazes, which look like they are more original than before. Not very many that are based on IPs. There's the Eternal Dark Maze, the Crypt of Cain Maze, the Circus Maze, Then there is the deceased maze again, with the zombie DC superheroes, and then precincts and panic rooms as well. Should be a pretty fun event. I see you grabbing some mates and dressing up as the Clockwork Orange gang for Halloween. I haven't even thought about what I'm going as for Halloween yet. I do have a penguin costume left over from a party I had earlier in the year, but I kind of don't want to be lazy, but also I don't want to spend too much money. I always go overboard with Halloween costumes. Henry, kind of unrelated, but I went to Universal Japan. Nice. That is a great park. Realize how much catching up Australia's got to do. I mean, if you're comparing us to Universal Japan, that's kind of one of the best parks in the world. So, you know, it's a high bar you're setting for us there. I don't think it'll be a long time before we've got anything as good as Universal Japan. JG's is going to BioWorld's Halloween event. Looks good, sadly no mazes. I don't know what do BioWorld typically do for Halloween? I didn't even realize they had a Halloween event. Stanthorpe is lovely, Natalie. I've only been through there a couple of times. I don't think I've ever stopped there. Watch me get tea in my beard live on stream. That'll be great. So yes, Fright Nights is coming up this month. Of course, the other big news coming out of Movie World, there is the new restaurant, the new dining experience that they're currently working on, which looks exciting. It actually looks kind of exciting. I'm keen to see where that goes. And then, of course, Scooby-Doo Spooky Coaster. We've been seeing some teasers from them. I'm going to get Movie World's Instagram page up because they've posted a few little teasers, including a video from inside the ride, which was exciting to see. Goodbye World does rides from 5 to 9 with park-wide lolly hunt and special LEDs and all that stuff. Okay. That sounds fun, like kind of more family-friendly, more family-oriented event. Oh yes, and Movie World is also finally replacing Stunt Driver 2. That show went for more than 10 years. They didn't change it in more than 10 years. I am so glad to finally see them changing that over, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. I'm hoping for either something themed to a movie, like maybe Mad Max would be pretty cool, or something kind of movie, like behind the scenes based, like a movie stunt guy kind of setup. Roman says it looks like Movie World is ripping a page out of Dreamworld with the restaurant. Honestly, if they are copying Dreamworld, if they just decided to copy Dreamworld from James Rivertown Restaurant, good, because I really like James Rivertown Restaurant, and I think Movie World need to. That's an area that Movie World could do a lot better in, is the food offerings. Yes, Scooby is confirmed for December. I think a lot of people were hoping for it for Fright Nights, but I don't think that's going to happen. AFK asks, which one do you hate more, VRTP's operations or Motor Coaster? Definitely Motor Coaster. VRTP, we say VRTP operations, but SeaWorld's operations are fine, man. It's just Movie World. VRTP are capable of running a park fine. They just don't. Josh, how's it going, Josh? JG's, they've been watching Aussie enthusiast vids because they replied to my comment and subbed some of few enthusiast channels like Mr. Yum Yum and Theme Park. Yeah, so I was talking to Mr. Yum Yum about that. And they've been actually like DMing him as well. So that's pretty exciting that they're actually that they're paying attention to what the enthusiast community has to say. I think that's something that I'd be a little bit critical of VRTP for in the past, is that they have had a tendency to kind of just ignore what the parks forums or people like Jags or Theme Park Ogre or anyone like that are saying, which is fine. They've got the whole public to appeal to, not just the people that are obsessed with theme parks. But you know, there's often some good ideas and good insight that they completely miss, and good feedback that they completely miss because they're not paying attention to that. And I think Mr. Yum Yum and Theme Park Burger are definitely two really good ones to be listening to. Roman says they got caught lacking by their competitor and now trying to make it back. I mean, yeah, again, like, if that's true, if they really like are going to do all this because they're playing catch up, then I hope we get a better movie world out of it. I'm excited to see how the dining experience turns out, and I'm excited to see that they're taking on a few different things at once. Like Scooby's getting reopened, they're redoing the stunt show, they're adding a new dining experience. They need that. When is Superman Escape opening again? Superman, yeah. So that's a complicated situation, and I don't know what is going to happen to that ride. So the Intamin accelerators, they're notorious for being unreliable, and because they've got such complex and big moving parts that are always under such immense stress, and it's sad because that ride is it's the second time in about 18 months that it's gone down and needed new parts, and obviously Intamin doesn't make that ride model anymore, so they have to get the part completely made from scratch, which is probably both expensive and it's going to take a bit of time. So I don't know when it'll reopen. I don't know how expensive that's going to be for Movie World. Who knows? Henry says, imagine Dreamworld replaced Motor Coaster with a Rivertown log flume or some water ride because it's been almost 10 years. I do think Dreamworld needs a water ride eventually. I don't know how they'll approach it. I think maybe something like a Mark rocking boat could be good for them because it's very different from your usual kind of water rides. It would be different enough that they could say, hey, this is like a whole new thing. This is completely different from flumes or rapids rides or anything else that you've seen before. So that could be really good for them. And it would fit in with Rivertown, actually. So that's good. That could be an idea. Put a Mark rocking boat in there. Roman says, last time I went to SeaWorld, the operations were horrid. The only ride I think I can excuse is Jet Rescue, but there was still some issues I could spot with its ops. They have issues. I'm not saying SeaWorld's ops are good or great by any means, but they go fine. They do okay. Leviathan's usually on 2 trains anytime I go there, which is more than I can say for Rivals or Superman. Jet Rescue is one of the ones that's a bit of an iffy one, because they usually run it on 1 train, which is fine because it's short, but they could run it on 2. Josh says, I'm so disappointed that Superman is down. I was going up soon and was hoping to get my first rides on it. Yeah. It's a sad situation, but it's 20 years old. It's a discontinued ride model. Those hydraulic launches put so much stress on that cable, so much stress on all of those moving parts. I think, sadly, it's just coming to that stage of its life, I think. Natalie's going to the Gold Coast on the 18th of October. I think that's the same weekend I'm going. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm going one of the weekends in October. Roman says Dreamworld will wait until after 2026 to add potential water rides because News will do a 10-year anniversary media run. I suspect you're right. They love doing that kind of thing in the media. And fair enough, like, 10 years on, they'll do a little they'll run the story again, which I wouldn't say would stop them from adding something before, but they probably wouldn't want to be building a water ride during that. If they're building a water ride during October 2026, it'll just, guarantee 7 News or something will run with that. They'll just absolutely sprint with that. So, yeah, I don't think they'll do that. GG's. Hopefully, if they remove it, they'll get a good themed replacement. Yeah. I'm hoping they don't have to. Yeah. AFK, I was talking to Theme Park Ogre and we thought of a re-theme with both quad bike trains and a Terrorbird plot. Terrorbird is dinosaur. I was talking about this on Total Maloney. I feel like if you were going to re-theme Motor Coaster or add new trains or try and refurbish it or anything, you'd have to do a lot because, first of all, you've got to get rid of those trains. That's 100% the first thing that's going to happen. But then also the layout's just not very interesting. So I don't, like, if you got rid of the trains and got decent trains, you'd make it an okay coaster, but not a very good one. So I think, and Dreamworld should be trying to make all their rides very good. So I think they would need, Blake had the idea of enclosing the ride or at least adding a whole lot of theming and rock work all around it. I think that could make it at least a bit more interesting. Yeah, that could be good. Roman says, I think when retrofitting accelerators, they should do what Mark did with Voltron and add 2 sets of LSM fins. Yeah. Speaking of Voltron, another idea is adding the LSMs up the top hat. Just to make it, because LSMs are always they have a slower acceleration. So I don't think they could just straight up replace the cable launch with LSMs, but if they added it up the top hat, then potentially that could get enough speed. And also it'd be kind of cool to have a launch going up like that. Natalie's coming to see Monster Trucks on the 18th of October. Nice. Nice. At the Gold Coast, you said, yeah. JGS, I'd love to see if Dreamworld could work with Intamin to do Tower of Terror 3. Is that model discontinued? Because they did Turbo Track. There we go. Although Turbo Track's now like nearly 10 years old as well, so I guess, yeah, probably. Let's see. Products, roller coasters. Come on, Intamin. Get your website faster. Vertical launch, LSM launch, hot racer. Yeah, it looks like it is. Version. Oh, reverse freefall coaster. Reverse freefall coaster. They still advertise a product flyer for it. There you go. Yeah, okay, so there is still a product flyer available for it. I think you can still get a reverse freefall coaster. It's not quite the same, because Turbo Track is LSM, like, well, they were both LSMs, but it's like slightly different. Oh, where? Roman says, I'm hoping to ride Gold Coaster before it closes. It's about 30 years old, and from what I can see, it doesn't get much lines. Yeah, there's never really a line for Gold Coaster. I don't think it's gonna disappear anytime soon, though. I think it will. I think they'll wait until they have money to replace it with something. Because at the moment, I don't think it's unreliable or anything. They're not having any problems with it. So keep it going until you can afford to build something decent in its spot, I guess. Hi, Carl. Nice. Thanks for tuning in from Sweden. Beautiful country, I'm sure. Can't wait to go there and ride Wildfire and Helix and what else? Boulder. Yes, I did know Park Asterix is getting a new coaster. They're actually getting a whole new themed land, aren't they? Themed to London with like a dark ride and a multi-dimension coaster and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty crazy. The part of the park that they're building it in, it's really nice, but there's nothing there, so I can see why they're doing that. Josh, any thoughts on Tormenta or any other new rides around the world that pique your interest? I'm very curious to see how Tormenta goes, because I don't think that people have very high opinions of dive coasters. They're a bit gimmicky, I guess, but a 300-foot one though, whew, that's going to be insane. And that vertical loop as well, being the tallest vertical loop in the world. It looks crazy. What else is new at the moment that has piqued my interest? Six Flags Great Adventure has started work on this thing that's replacing King to Car that everyone seems to hate the idea of, but I'm actually kind of curious. One of the new ones that I think went under the radar a little bit this year was Flash Coaster at Aqua Show in Portugal. That's a compact launch model from Mark, and it kind of looks awesome. What else is open this year? Not a lot. Chimalong Paradise got a new Jinmar launch coaster that looks kind of weird. Antares finally opened at Connieland. Helios, of course. That's probably one of my big ones that I love the look of this year. I'm just going through the RCDB open in 2025 page. Hosso Land is open now. That, not so much any of the coasters, but that park looks incredible. And Legoland's open, and Rapterra looks mid. Lost Island got their Raptor. Mattel Adventure Park's going to get delayed again. Yeah, nothing else is screaming out at me. I'm going in alphabetical order, so I'm probably missing a bunch of these. Wrath of Rakshasa has kind of been outshone. Obviously, Six Flags Qiddiya, we have no idea what's going on there. And, Epic Universe, of course. Mechalodon looks really good. I've heard mixed things about Yoi. I don't know what to think of that. I've heard some people say it was really good, some people say it was mid. Vena Looping looks really good. And that's about it. Cool. That's everything I've gone through. Where was I up to? Natalie, I love DC Rivals. Me too. Still in my top 3. I'm actually redoing all my rankings at the moment, so we'll see if it stays there. Henry, Movie World better advertise the Land of Oz, Glinda, and Wicked Witch visits when Wicked Part 2 comes out. The problem with that is they've got to be careful, because Wicked is a universal property. The Wizard of Oz, they have the rights to, but not Wicked. So, they still have Glinda and the Wicked Witch, so they can advertise that, but I don't think they can directly reference Wicked. Do I think I'll revisit? Oh, I would revisit Park Asterix in a heartbeat, any day. Luna Park Sydney was really disappointing when I went recently in July. They were doing some Movie World type management. I have heard this from multiple people, and it's saddening because, and I'm not just being biased because I used to work there, but I used to think Luna Park had some of the best ops in the entire country. Yeah, not good. I think someone posted in the Discord that they went there the other week, and when the park opened, the only things open were like Boomerang and a couple of others. I can't remember specifically, but yeah, it's not good. I don't know what's going on there. JGS had a write-up. I'm just going to skip that. Romanet says, I think the issue with the King to Car replacement is that it's a shuttle coaster, and by looking at flash vertical velocity, the lines will be really low. True. Not sure about the lines thing, because the design by Mark is able to run 2 trains, because they've got a dual station with a switch track. But so it will probably be better for efficiency, but I do think it should be still a full circuit. I'm not sure about this whole shuttle thing. You haven't been on DC Rivals yet, Natalie? You absolutely should. You should go on it. It's incredible. Hello, Kieran. Kieran wants a full circuit from Six Flags as well. Good luck with that. I mean, I feel like the Hyper Dive would have been a better choice for Great Adventure, but I don't know. Whatever. They had trains with people lining up to get dispatched on Wild Mouse. Wait, what? As in the, the state, like they had the people in the cars and hadn't dispatched them? Are you serious? That's not a park operations thing. That's bad ops. What the hell? Henry, I find it so hard to rank my credits because I always put my newest at the top. I'm actually working on. I kind of go back and forth on this, but I'm currently working on adding to my spreadsheet a big scoring system so that it's out of my hands. Because I get too obsessed with like, oh no, I like this coaster better than this coaster, but this coaster better than this coaster. So now I'm basically working on, I give them a score and then where they rank is where they rank. And I'm more focused on getting the score right than the ranking right. Samantha asked, what do you reckon the next big coaster in Australia will be? I think that Dreamworld will get a Vekoma, a new gen Vekoma of some type. Maybe, I don't think it'll be a launch coaster because they've got Steel Taipan. I think maybe a flying coaster or a tilt coaster. I think they'll try to do that before the end of the decade. They'll do something big. I think it will be Vekoma though, because they seem to like working with them, and Vekoma's a really good manufacturer at the moment. They only run one train at a time, dispatching at the very end on Dipper. One train at a time on Dipper is pretty standard, because like adding the second train on Dipper doesn't do much for you. It's good to kind of just keep the ops moving, but you don't really save that much time, because by the time you load a train, second train's hit the brakes. Have them in the trains. Oh, and Wild Mouse you're talking about. Special times 5 minutes, which would be... Wait. You're breaking my brain right now. You're saying that they were taking 5 minutes to dispatch a car on Wild Mouse. You're serious? That's insane. That's so bad. I would have got yelled at if it took me more than 30 seconds. Yeah, I do hope for a tilt coaster at Dreamworld. That would be really cool. It would be very eye-catching, and I think that might be Gold Coaster's replacement. Because if you use that plot of land where Gold Coaster's like first half is and where the station and everything is, and then you could go over into the former Thunderbolt plot and that whole backstage area out behind Whitewater World. But then if you had the tilt section there at the front of the park, that would be really eye-catching on the skyline. AFK, this might just be me, but while I was in the line for Sledgehammer, I went to the mild line by accident. I didn't see any signage separating the two, but I might not have seen signage. No, it's pretty, it always has been pretty shitty. Like, they've still got temporary fences there, don't they? Or have they finally fixed that? They used to just have like temporary fences set up there, and it was all over the place. But yeah, the signage, there's only like the sign at the very front of the queue. It's pretty easy to make that mistake. That whole queue situation with Sledge is a bit of a mess, honestly. Henry, hoping Goodbye World announces something soon, still not much in Melbourne. The rumour that I've heard is that they didn't make much money back off the coasters, or at least as much as they thought. So they probably are just waiting a bit to recoup that. But it has been 3 years now. I would say you probably won't have to wait too long. I think they'll add something soon. Roman, wasn't that bad when I went. They still have to stop the trains before the lift hill because of blocks. Yeah, so they have to do that, but usually it's pretty easy to have like one there while you're loading the next one. And then you would usually just have a couple of empty cars in between the brakes and the loading section. Like usually it shouldn't take them that long to dispatch that you have more than like one or two at a time. Sledgehammer is the best ride because Big Dipper is so rough nowadays. Yeah, but Sledgehammer has those restraints, dude. They're so awful. That whole like seat design is just utter shit. It's terrible. It's rubbish. The best ride, which unfortunately is currently down for refurbishment, is Hair Razor. That is by far the best ride in the park. AFK, I went at the start of the year and there was temporary. Yeah, so they still haven't fixed that. I believe take this with a grain of salt because I don't know if this is true. I think the problem is that Big Dipper's biggest risk of a valley spot is in between the non-inverting loop and the Sidewinder, and if the train did valley there, they would need to get a crane in, so they need the fences for Sledgehammer's queue to be removable so that they can get the crane in underneath Big Dipper, because otherwise, if the fences are in the way, then they would have to cut them all down to be able to get a crane in there. So I think that's what it is. I don't know. If it was me, I would have, if that is the problem, what I would do is put in bollards, like those bollards that you can lock into the ground, so that if that did happen, you just close Sledgehammer, unlock all of the bollards, and get the crane in then. But then at least it looks like, you know, half decent when you don't have that problem. They don't run coasters most weekdays and wait. Restraints good for small people. Yeah, they're just not good. They're not ergonomic. It was under maintenance when I went. It looked ready to go. No, Hairraiser is going under an extended maintenance period. I had that confirmed to me by one of my friends at the park while I was there, and yeah, it's getting some like significant work done. So I don't know how long that'll take. Roman, Hairraiser is the best ride at Luna Park Sydney. Even if Sledgehammer didn't have bad restraints, Hairraiser would still be on top. I think I agree. If Sledgehammer had good restraints, it would be a lot closer though, because I do like a really intense ride like that. But it's just very hard to enjoy that intensity because the restraints hurt so much. Have I been on the Giant Drop? Yes, I have. It is my favorite ride at Dreamworld. I love the Giant Drop. It is fantastic. It's so intense. I love it. Right, what else were we talking about? So we talked about Scooby-Doo, confirmed for December. We got that sneak peek inside the ride. And what I want to say about that sneak peek is I'm concerned because you can see screens. And Scooby-Doo Spooky Coaster does not have a good history with screens. I'm going to withhold judgment because I have nothing against screens per se. Projection can be done well. It can be executed well. I've been on rides like Transformers at Universal Studios Singapore, that does it really well. Even on the lower budget rides like Crazy Professor at Connieland, fantastic ride, uses projection really, really well. Really seamless. So I'm going to withhold judgment. Maybe they'll do it better this time, but I am a little bit concerned because I would have liked them to go back to more practical effects. And then obviously Stars Terrace is opening soon as well. Do we have an opening date for that? I don't know. Roman, Hairraiser has been down since April because it needs to be refurbished. The park invested all their money into Squid Game, so they can't afford it right now. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, it would make sense. Investing all that money, yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. They have this obsession with these big top experiences right now. I don't think anyone's going for that, are they? Like, really? Are you really going to go to Luna Park Sydney just to do a Squid Game experience? Like, I guess, like if you're a Squid Game fan. But some of the other ones they've had have been like that one that was like that ABC Kids show that I had never heard of before in my entire life. Like, why are they throwing so much money into that? I don't understand. Also, I feel like, isn't that just occupying room in the Big Top when usually the Big Top has things like exhibitions and concerts? I remember Conan Gray played there. Like, surely that makes you more money than Squid Game the experience. I don't know. I'm not in the management there. Josh says there's crazy rumors flying around about Funfields getting a coaster. Any thoughts on what it could be if it's real? The rumor I've heard is an Alpine coaster. Yeah, which I mean, kind of works. They've already got the Alpine slide. I'll be disappointed if I'm right. Let me just put it that way. I'm not a huge fan of Alpine coasters at all, and you know, yeah, doesn't really make sense to me. I'd like to see them get something more along the lines of like a little family coaster, like a Vekoma or something. But I think an alpine coaster makes more sense for what the park is anyway. It'll be open right now if it weren't for Squid Game. Jesus. I'm worried about the management at Luna Park because the company that is now managing them that took over after the sale a little while ago, they operate things like pubs and resorts and things like that. Like they're mostly like a hospitality kind of company. So I'm a little concerned that they're going to go, oh, but we can make more money by using these venues that we have, because Luna Park's got the Big Top and the Crystal Palace and the Sonar out the front, as well as, you know, you can use Coney Island for functions and stuff as well. I feel like they're going to think that's more of their cash cow, and they're going to neglect the amusement park a little bit, which is sad. Where are we? Henry says, I think Movie World said 2 screens would be staying, that they would show different things. I have heard that, I don't know, I hadn't heard the 2 screens bit before, but I had heard that they had confirmed that they're showing different things on the screen to what it was before, which is good, because what was shown before was pretty rubbish. But I'm hoping, that doesn't mean it's good, so it's like, Natalie, Wet n Wild have a new ride coming soon? Yes, Zoom Zone, I believe, replacing the Aqualoop. They look like cool body slides, but I'm kind of still sad about the Aqualoop, because that was my favorite ride there. Sad times. Yeah, cool concept, but wrong theme choices. I agree. Yeah. Squid Game, that ABC Kids show. They did Stranger Things as well, didn't they? I feel like that's the best out of the 3 choices, but Luna Park Sydney make it easy to go through lines without a pass. I forgot to scan it and nobody cared before he had to. Okay, in the ride attendant's defense, depending on which ride you're on, that scanning system, the barcode system, is such a pain to do. Especially, so if you're on a ride like Volare, for example, that has 64 seats. You are focused on like, and not only is it, you don't just count to 64 either, because you've got to make sure that, because the double seats on the, if someone's got a green wristband, they have to sit on the double seats with an adult with them. So you're so focused on counting in the right amount of people, making sure that everybody who has a green wristband is sitting on the inside seats, making sure that nobody has things like injuries or loose items that are going to be a concern for you. You're so focused on that. Do you really think you have time to worry about like whether all 64 people scanned their wristband and it worked properly? Like, eventually you just get so much into the zone that the only time you notice it is when someone either really obviously skips the line, or when they scan and it lights up red and says no. Because like, I can't be bothered. Like, I've got so many other things that are actually about safety to focus on. I can't be stuffed to check if this guy's paid. Like, man, it's a lot. That scanning system doesn't work. They need to come up with something better. Henry says, hope it's not an Alpine coaster. They need something that compares to Combiner World's TNT. I agree. Yeah, I'll be sad if it is an Alpine coaster, because I am excited that it could be something better. I think a Vekoma family coaster would be really good for them. But no, I have heard the rumor though that it's an Alpine coaster. Right, I was watching me as I went through the line. Yeah, I think they just really don't. Some rides are better than others. Like on Wild Mouse or on Big Dipper, you really don't have any excuse not to be paying attention to whether they scan their wristband, because like you're letting through 2 people at a time for Wild Mouse, or 7 people at a time for Big Dipper. But yeah, as Roman said here, the Dodgems, they're also very intense. Like, it's loud in there, it's hot in there. You're trying to focus on who's driving with who and making sure that they're all, you know, the right height and everything. It's a nightmare. So like, that's when you'll miss those things. Because let's be honest, in their defense, whether or not they have a wristband is less important than whether or not they're safe to ride. So like, really, who cares? Henry says, think Wet n Wild replaced Aqualoop with family rides because all their family rides Oh wait, no, I missed Roman. Roman says in those goofy videos the Luna Park Sydney YouTube channel is making, they said how much money they put into the squid. I will have to check it out. I don't think I'm going to do a video on the Luna Park Sydney situation at the moment because I don't have any like real insight there. But I would, I'll be monitoring it. Henry, back to yours. Wet n Wild replace Aqualoop with a family ride, so their family rides are in the front and the thrills are in the back. I mean, it does make it a more neat divide, I guess. But Aqualoop was the best out of the thrill slides. Like, why get rid of it? Low capacity, I guess. Glenn says, hey man, you may have answered this already, but what happened to your older vids? You still up going back and reaching them at nose about 6 months. Everything about 6 months till reaching 6 months. So most of it's back now. Long story short, how do I, when something, hello, the dog trying to jump on my lap. Do you want to go on the live? You want to hop on the live? Come on. There you go. Where was I? When, like, because all of my opinions and my hobby and my work was all like public, it got very easy to open up YouTube in the morning to check how a video was doing, get a negative comment, and then it just ruin your entire day. And so when I did have kind of like a point where I realized that my mental health was crashing and that I needed time away, but I knew that if I just took time away and just stopped making videos, that I would probably still keep opening YouTube and seeing comments on the older videos and still feeling terrible. So I kind of realized that I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I realized that I was not happy. I realized that I needed to kind of reclaim it as something that I do for fun and not for money or for views or for clicks. And so yeah, at the time what I did was just privated all the videos because I was like, that way, no comments, no nothing, and I can just take some time to myself. And then when I came back, I was like, okay, well, I'll cull some of the stuff that I'm not happy with anymore, and then I'll turn all the other ones back onto public. So most of it's back. I have culled quite a bit of it because I was like, oh, that was a really shitty video that I made for no reason other than just because I wanted to put a video out. But most of it is back. If I liked it, it's back. But thank you for your question. Yeah, you said the Dodgems. Natalie, Black Hole's my favorite ride in Wet n Wild. My favorite ride in Wet n Wild now, after Aqualoop's gone, would be, I haven't been there in so long, dude. Maybe Kamikaze, because that first drop is so steep, so intense. It's crazy. Samantha, Luna Park Sydney being my home park is okay, but I want them to get something new, but they can't because they'll have to remove something. Yeah, they have that problem, and I don't think they will, because, like, looking through the parks, you've got Rhoda, Wild Mouse, Coney Island, all heritage listed, can't touch them. You've got Ferris wheel and carousel, so integral to the park. The amount of times that people book out either the carousel or the Ferris wheel or both for private functions, it's insane. It earns them so much money. So they won't go anywhere. And then you've got Valari and Tango Train are probably the two that I could see, like, if they really wanted to get rid of something, it would be one of those two, but both of them are pretty new. Like Tango Train, they only put that in 2016, and Valari is 2019, so they're pretty new. Harry's is the best ride in the park. If they touch it, I'll scream. And that's only 2013 as well. And then you've got Dodgem City, which you're not going to fit anything else in there. Big Dipper, which is obviously brand new. And then all the rides up the back in Lunaland, which are also brand new. So like, there's nothing screaming out for removal. There's nothing at all that they could really really remove. Sadly. New Penguin Zero title. What? The dog's growling at me. I think she wants to go outside. I hope she's not going to bark. Henry, hopefully we get a new drop slide right now. Wet n Wild's not worth the money. Well, both of the drop slides at the big parks up there are gone now because Wedgie has been gone for a while. I'd like to see that come back. I really think the dog wants to go outside. I'm going to be right back. Do you want to go outside? Is that what's wrong? Go on. All right, we're back. Blah, blah, blah. Henry, the Kaboom is the best ride for me at Wet n Wild. I still haven't been on it. So I haven't been to Wet n Wild in probably years now. I can't think of it. The last time I went. Last time I went, I think Mark V and all of that had closed, but they hadn't built Kaboom and stuff yet. Natalie, my favorite ride at SeaWorld is definitely Leviathan. Still Leviathan for now. It's getting rougher, but it's still pretty good. Oh, Roman, Bug. Yeah, I've heard this. Bug is permanently closed. That is surprising to me. Again, what can I say without getting in trouble as a former Luna Park employee? That surprises me because it's not the one out of the new rides that I thought had the most problems. I really thought if one of them was going to be a lemon and be scrapped early, it would probably be Little Nipper. That thing has way more problems than any of the Zamperla rides. I mean, all of them had their quirks. I can remember Bug having a couple of issues, but nothing super serious. So it surprises me that it's already gone. I need to visit Jamboree, such a well-rounded park and doesn't suffer the issue a lot of Aussie parks contain, which is big gap in its demographic. Jamboree's on the list. I've got a list of like little parks that I haven't been to that I want to visit at some point to do videos. Jamboree, Fun Fields. Where else haven't I been? Big Buzz. I haven't been to Outback Splash. I haven't been to Raging Waters. I haven't been to Toboggan Hill Park. And then there's a bunch of other little places that I just want to document as well, like Timbertown. And I'm going to go back to the Big Banana once they get the Plantation Coaster open, so that'll be fun. Josh, at least what Luna Park Sydney has now is nice. I'd love to see poor Luna Park Melbourne get that kind of love. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what... I feel like their owners are even less willing to do anything at the moment. They don't care. I mean, no slander here. They do care. They're not adding a lot. I do like Luna Park Melbourne for the classic flat rides. Like, I really love myself a Hoss Enterprise, but I do agree it needs some love. There's a lot of attractions there that are outdated. My favorite Whitewater World is, it's got to be the Hydro Coaster, doesn't it? So unique. For Australia, anyway. Roman, it's okay, right? I'm talking why it's closed and all these dumb little issues. And we know that Granty's Maze is top of the list. Granty's Maze is more than top of the list. Granty's Maze is on a list of its own. That place is insane. Henry, is Raging Waters new Wet n Wild Sydney? Yeah. So it opened as Wet n Wild Sydney. Their VRTP sold it? Did they sell it or did they just stop operating? No, they sold it. And it's now owned by Parque Reunidos, and it's called Raging Waters. Jack to Bear Time, boo. Hoss Enterprise, boo. Grow up. Kieran, get yourself a proper stomach and get on a decent classic flat ride. I bet you don't like zippers either, or what's another same boo What's another classic flat ride that Kieran would hate? Matterhorns. I bet you hate Matterhorns too. AFK, do you think a Professor Bogglesworth experience in Rivertown theme to a temple would fit in? Which is need more Professor Bogglesworth. Is that the one from Aussie World, the Illusionarium? I think it's Professor Bogglesworth's Illusionarium, right? Yeah, I would love to see more parks I'd love to see more parks do walkthrough attractions, definitely. Whether Rivertown is the place to do it, I don't know. It could be cool, I guess, if it was like a temple expedition, like an adventure or something. That'd be really cool. I'd like that. Have I been to Top Golf Gold Coast yet? No. We were going to go the last time we went up there and then it just didn't happen. We went to Australian Outback Spectacular instead, I think. Which was alright. I didn't mind it. The food was good. Henry, Enterprise is so fun at Luna Park Melbourne. Best ride there by far. Second best. Wait. Yes, second best ride there. It's my second favorite after the Spider, because the Spider is so good. It's so dope. I stand the Spider. Scaretastic, thoughts on the upcoming strata coaster at Aussie World called Tower of Terror 3. I thought it was an Exocoaster. I thought we were getting a Falcon's Flight clone. Natalie, will I go there one day? Probably. I always like to do something different every time I go up to the Gold Coast for a little extended period of time. It's always fun. Hee-hoo. Nice name. I have a lot of nostalgia for my 2014-ish family trip to the Gold Coast parks, but I'm worried about after going to international parks recently, I won't be able to appreciate the local stuff. So, if you haven't been to the Gold Coast parks since 2014, there's a lot that you're going to love, even if you have been to some really good international parks. Rivertown is the first thing that I would say you're going to love it. It's great. The dog wants back in. I'll finish answering this question and I'll let the dog in. So, Jungle Rush is pretty good. The theming around Rivertown is great. Murrissippi Motors is fantastic. And James Rivertown Restaurant, best dining experience on the Gold Coast by far. If you haven't been since 2014, DC Rivals is a world-class coaster. What else has opened since 2014? Oh, Leviathan, obviously. That whole area is pretty nice as well. Leviathan's getting a little rough, but it's still pretty good. Yeah. There's still some stuff. You'll enjoy it. I would say we're not like on Universal or anything like that level by far, but the parks are not bad, and I tend to give them a bit of crap, but, you know, they're not that bad. Just realized my my little live cam of myself here is like 10 minutes behind. Alright, I'm gonna let the dog back in. Go on, your fussy. Come on. You coming back over here? Or are you going to bed? Come on, help me. You've got to give your opinion on various Gold Coast attractions. Okay. What have we got? Professor Bogglesworth's Illusionarium is awesome. The actors do a top job. Honestly, some of the best thing in Australia. The last time I went there and did the walkthroughs, yeah, fantastic. So good. I love them, and I feel like it's something that more parks should do. Henry Spider had some surprising forces at first. I thought it was just a kid's ride. I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, it's so good. It's one of those like moderate thrill attractions that's just so good. Classic flat ride, and I hope they keep that thing around. Like, even if they do eventually completely overhaul the park, please keep the Spider around. Roman, I have to make a documentary with an interview for film school. My docos are just not my cup of tea. Do you have any ideas I can leech off of? Does it have to be on a specific topic? When I do docos, usually I start with something that I'm like really fascinated by that I could talk about for ages, like Green Valley Farm or Grant Telfer or whatever, and I just like go down a rabbit hole, like literally just end up on the 16th page of Google trying to find anything I can, any bit of YouTube footage, whatever, and then find like who's gonna be the expert on the topic, and get in touch with them and see if they're interested in an interview, like what I did with Green Valley Farm. If you mean like ideas for what to do a documentary about, I mean, I want to do one about. Excuse me? What did you just say? You weirdo. I want to do. I don't know. Oh, I want to do a Big Banana one. History of the Big Banana documentary, and try and get in contact with them. Will I go one day to Topgolf, you said? Yeah, I will. I remember being pretty impressed by the Justice League Dark Ride at Movie World. Never been to Dreamworld, so I'd be glad to check that out. It's not too feasible to top Disney Sea, but Disney Sea is a candidate for the best theme park in the world. So you're setting a very, very high bar. Go to Dreamworld. Dreamworld's really recovering at the moment. Like, it's in a good place. There's some very good attractions there. Still some parts of the park that are a bit dead, but like it's getting better. Movie World, Justice League has gone downhill a bit. The effects sometimes don't work. A lot of the theming there isn't great, but they've got a couple of good coasters. Good night, Natalie. Thanks for joining. I'm kicking myself for not writing Scooby-Doo because pre-teen me was scared of it. Yeah. When it reopens, it's reopening this December. Definitely go on Scooby-Doo. That'll be the best themed ride in the park by far once it reopens. Roman Movie World should replace Stunt Driver with Mad Max type stunts. Agreed. Please. I would love to see that. That'd be fantastic. I think Mad Max is my like #1 candidate for what I want to replace Stunt Driver 2, which ends in 12 days. 12 more days after 10 years. Crazy. I want to see how King Claw's construction is doing at the moment. Has Theme Park Ogre posted recently from Dreamworld? No, he's been to Movie World. Rats. He hasn't posted in about a week from Dreamworld. That's a shame. What about Mr. Yum Yum, my other good friend? Let's see if he's posted about Ocean Park and Movie World. Yes. And he also hasn't been to Dreamworld about a week. That's a shame. I've heard that it's coming along nicely, that they're starting to see theming coming. I believe Mad Max is a Warner Brothers IP, but I had heard that they maybe sold the theme park rights. Because I feel like a park did something once. Nothing very major, but they might have sold the theme park rights. If Scooby-Doo is bad, I'll lose all my faith in Movie World. Do I have any faith in Movie World left? Yeah, I don't know. In my last Justice League ride, I was halfway through the ride when the E stopped and the lights went on and we stopped in between some doors. They automatically closed. 5 minutes later we moved, but the guns weren't working. Sounds about typical. Sounds about right. 12 days until Stunt Driver Famine finally ends. What do you call it, Kieran? Macca's Car Park, the show? You're just watching some cars do burnouts. It's pretty mundane. I'd love to see like a proper movie themed show happen. That'd be much better. Footage that King Claw is testing, yep, and we've seen it test to the full swing height now, which is good. It's absolutely huge. At full swing, it's the tallest thing in the park other than the giant drop, which is crazy. It's going to be awesome. And the flat pass too. It's going to be absolutely sick. Also, thanks to, shout out to Coasters with Nicholas in the Discord. By the way, if you haven't joined the Discord, link in the description. You can also find all my info down there. Let me find which, trip report? Yeah. We've got some photos of construction happening on the Alpine Coaster at the Big Banana. It's coming along nicely. A lot of the track is up, not all of it. There's still vertical construction going on, but it's looking pretty good, and it looks like it's in 2 sections. So 2 downhill sections and 2 lift hills, which is interesting. I mean, I know the Big Banana quite well, and the hill there is not huge, so I can see why they had to do that, because yeah, they don't have a lot of downhill stretch to work with. Big Banana mentioned. I love the Big Banana. So good. You ever had the oh, so they do the classic is the bananas coated in chocolate, but the one thing that I had once was they did a burger with banana on it, and it was actually surprisingly good. I need to go back there so badly, but I'm obviously waiting until the coaster opens, because it's not too far a drive for me. It's like 2.5, 3 hours, but it's hella good. Oh, of course, the only other photo that we posted was on Ferris wheel. I hate Ferris wheels. All my friends hate Ferris wheels. Have a good night, Natalie. The toboggan works alright for how short it is, but I'm interested to see what a coaster would even work. Yeah, so it's like similar ideas to the toboggan. Like you control your speed and you go downhill, but it looks like they've made it like longer. So it's there's 2 downhill sections. So you go up the lift hill the first time, go down, and then you go up a second lift hill and go down again. I'm the only one who hates Ferris wheels? No, I'm not. If you're my friend, you hate Ferris wheels. Prediction on Australia's next big thing. Oh. We were having a debate about what my town's big thing would be. We didn't come up with anything good. What would be the next big thing? Can the Gold Coast get the big coaster? Build a really big roller coaster? That'd be great. I don't know, where the big sock, the big shoey. There we go. JGS also hates Ferris wheels. Everyone else has seen that. Roman, you're wrong. We hate Ferris wheels. Ferris wheels suck. They're awful. Big bucket of soup. How long am I alive for? I don't know. Until I feel like I want to stop. I don't know. I'm running out of tea. That could be a reason that I stop. No, but I want to do these about once a month, kind of towards the end of the month, and just catch up on theme park news and what's going on, talk about my plans for videos, and hear from you guys in chat as well. Just kind of connect with the community a little bit more. The Big Goon of Fortune. Is that the game? Is that what you call that game? I call it Goon Roulette. We're talking about where you hang the goon on the clothesline and spin it around? Or the big durry? Yeah. Isn't there already a big joint in Nimbin? Well, there was. I don't know. Not quite the same thing, though. Where's somewhere in Australia that's famous for something that doesn't have a big thing? Big. I don't know. Cairns could get the big Steve Irwin. That's more Sunshine Coast, I guess. AFK Theme Park Society, what kind of music do you like, and what's your favorite film or TV series? So right now, I'm doing two things. So, films, I'll watch anything. Literally, I will watch good movies because they're good. I will watch bad movies because they're so bad that they're fun. At the moment, I'm doing like this binge of SBS on demand because there's some cursed movies on there. But one that I found that I really, really liked, and I did talk about it on Total Maloney, was Reefer Madness. It's got Kristen Bell. Why am I blanking on who else is in the cast? It's got Kristen Bell. It's a musical, but it's also like a parody of like that film. There was a scare film that came out in like the 20s about marijuana and about like how awful it is, and it's like it'll kill you. It's so funny. It's such a good movie. Music-wise, so I, as part of my job, host a radio show that is a top 30 countdown of the week, so it's just like the charts. And because of that, I've gotten so into some artists recently on the charts that are like on repeat on my playlist, like Chapel Roan, Sabrina Carpenter. But also there's a few that are like an offshoot of that aren't in the charts that I really like. Renee Rapp is an example of that. So I'm a big musical theatre fan. I'm into kind of pop and a little bit indie. I don't mind some Aussie rock like Lime Cordial and that sort of thing. Yeah. Pretty much, I'll listen to anything. Yeah. Big Fairy Bread or a big Bin Chicken, both will be iconic, absolutely iconic. Game Over Gold Coast, yes, I've been there once. I didn't do the meat hook coaster though. We only went there to go go-karting. But it was fun. The Piano Teacher on SBS. I haven't seen that one. He who mentioned the foreign animation, and yes, there was one called Oink, which I think was a Dutch animation. It was really weird, but it was a lot of fun. I liked it. Would you ever consider playing theme park games like Planet Coaster 2 in the future? Yes, I want to. At the moment, I run off a MacBook, so you can't get Planet Coaster 2 on Mac. You can get Planet Coaster 1 on Mac, but I don't think that it would do very well with streaming it or recording it on OBS. So I'm going to get myself a gaming PC once I can. But at the moment, all of my money's going towards my next international trip, so that's just going to have to wait. Once that's out of the way, then I'll probably think about it. Do I have Instagram and Facebook? I have Maloney's Coaster's Instagram page. I don't post there very much though, but you're welcome to go check it out. Egon Blitz, out of Winterfest, Street Food Festival, and Country Fair, what would you rate the three and why? Personally, my favorite is Country Fair for the animals, vibes, music, and props. So I have only been out of those to the Street Food Festival. I'm never up at the Gold Coast at the right times. Full disclosure, up until this month will be my first time going to Fright Nights if I end up going. So I'm just never up there at the right time. Usually I do a Gold Coast trip in the summer. So I've been to Carnival a few times. And then I usually just drive up there. I'll get an annual pass to one of the two, either BRTP or Dreamworld, and just go up there every now and then on a weekend, whenever I can. But yeah, I don't get up there often enough to go to many of those events, unfortunately. Scaretastic, the photos from inside Star Terrace that Miguel posted you. Have you seen them yet? I saw the photo. I saw TPO's video where he looked in. You could see the decal with the Warner Brothers water tower, which I think looks pretty cool. I haven't seen the photos from inside yet. I'll have to check that out. Actually, check that out now. Is it on Movie World's Instagram or who posted it? Roman, I recommend La Casa Lobo or Akira if you want an awesome foreign animated film. I haven't seen Akira. I've heard of Akira. I haven't seen it. I I haven't heard of La Casa Loca, so I'll have to check it out. That just means the wolf house, right? The house of wolves, the wolf house. In my limited Spanish. And Windows 11, a gaming PC, got a gaming PC for work and stuff. It works just fine when recording for high detail theme parts, not so much when recording on POVs. Okay, yeah. I want to get something decent enough to record. I don't know about streaming. Maybe I'll stream games. I'm not sure. I haven't decided, but I just need to get something that's a bit more capable than the MacBook. And obviously, Mac can't get Planet Coaster 2 anyway, so if I'm gonna have to get a Windows. What do I think of Daft Punk and or Justice? I love a bit of Daft Punk. Yeah, I like Daft Punk. But you usually book all that stuff that's cheaper. Okay, depends where you're going. If you are going to Asia, like Japan, China, Taiwan, South Korea, anything like that, Klook is great for park tickets or experiences or anything like that. Anywhere in the world, really, mostly. Definitely for Europe and Asia at least, Trip.com is really good for hotels and flights because it also, as well as being really cheap for some reason, I don't know how they do it, like there's some really cheap deals on there. There's also a rewards program that's very easy to get into and to move up the tiers in, and the rewards on it are really freaking good. Like, I've been getting free VIP lounge access at airports because I book my flights through Trip.com. But also, if you are booking flights, make sure you check Skyscanner as well. It's the classic. It checks everything. It'll check for all the best prices, and you can sort it by cheapest so that you get the best deal. And those are mostly what I use. Kayak does the same thing, but also with hotels and car rental and that sort of thing. So that's another one to check for good prices. And really, I get away with traveling quite cheap because I usually, this time I'm not, I'm staying in hotels in China because I'm just a bit more unsure about traveling there. But usually I stay in like hostels and stuff because I don't mind, I like hostels, I love meeting new people. And they're always way cheaper. Do I drive to the Gold Coast? Yes. Yeah. I like a good road trip. It's on Movie World Story. I'm going to get my phone because I don't think I can view stories on here. Where about Movie World? Yeah, I'm thinking I have to get my phone. Yeah. I am streaming from my phone, so I can't do that right now. I'll check it out after I stream. What state do I live in? New South Wales. Posted in Park Chat on Discord. Awesome. Let's have a look. Ooh, damn. Oh, Lunarix is the new flat ride. What do we got? Ooh, okay. If you're in the Discord, check them out. Scantastic has posted Movie World stories in the Park Chat channel. I like this very much. Movie World, you might just be cooking something that I have to compliment. This actually looks really good. I love the little cabinets with all like the props and stuff in there. That's so nice. It looks sleek too. They've got like the classic cinema billboard up above the bar there by the looks of things. I mean, like, we're only seeing very chosen angles, obviously, but from what I've seen so far, I kind of like that. They're kind of cooking. Hey, Toby, how's it going? Need good Wi-Fi for video game streaming? Yeah, I have good Wi-Fi at home. I'm currently streaming off my mum's Wi-Fi, which is not quite as good. It's the good old Elon Musk Starlink. Do I edit on Mac or what do I edit with? Yeah, I edit on DaVinci Resolve on Mac. Macs are just better for creative stuff. They're far superior for any kind of creative, whether it's photo editing or video editing or anything like that. What am I going? Melbourne to Gold Coast for a family? Are you going from Melbourne to the Gold Coast? I mean, I've driven from my place to Melbourne before, but that's like another 20. That's another. I'm still like 5 or 6 hours away from the Gold Coast, and it's like 14 hours from here to Melbourne. So it's like 20 hours driving. I don't know. I would fly. If you're going from Melbourne to the Gold Coast, I would fly. What NRL team do I go for? I'm not an NRL guy. My family are a mix of Rabbitohs and Parramatta fans, and I think a couple of Bulldogs fans. I'm a soccer supporter. Yeah, I live in New South Wales, near Green Valley Farm. That's my home. I actually live at Green Valley Farm. I live underneath the giant slide. It's pretty sick. Yeah, I love these photos. This looks so good. I'm actually so excited. We're gonna have to eat at well, it's probably not gonna be open in October. I might have to eat there in January. I think is the next time I'm going up to the Gold Coast. That will be fun. All right, what else have we got? Mid-North Coast, nice. I'd like to go down there in, I think December is when Big Banana is opening its stuff. So I'll probably head down to the coast, make a little bit of a trip of it, go to the beach. The giant apple where you live. I don't know if Kieran's still in the chat, but he's been to, well, we went to the Big Orange together, but he's been to so many big things. He loves his big things. The giant koala, big merino, big trout. What else has he been to in his videos? Big golden guitar. Big golden guitar is kind of near where I live. There's also the big chicken near where I live, big chook. What else do we have around here? Obviously, Coffs has the Big Banana, which is awesome. Everybody go to the Big Banana. Shout outs to the Big Banana. What else has the Discord posted about recently? Maybe we'll have something to talk about. So Perth Royal's going on at the moment, and there's an awesome new flat ride there. KMG Lunarix, which is just the most insane looking ride model of all time. They've also got the Zyklon that's called Wild Mouse because people are stupid. Why are they calling it the Zyklon Wild Mouse? Makes me so angry. The Big Poo. Yeah, oh yeah, okay. Are you talking about the big potato that looks like a poo? Oh, the giant thermometer. I forgot that was a thing. There's also a giant sundial somewhere, which is pretty cool. In Tully, in Queensland, they have the big gumboot, and the gumboot is the exact height of the amount of rain that they got in like the Australian record year or something like that. Like it's the wettest town in Australia, and they built this gumboot that is like the height of the total amount of rain they got in like the wettest year ever. And it's pretty tall, so they get a lot of rain. The Big Poo. We gotta love the Big Poo. What else have we not talked about? We've talked about Scooby, we've talked about their new Movie World's new dining experience, stunt show. I don't really have a lot to say about the stunt show yet because we don't know what's replacing it. I hope it's not another car show. If it's another car show, I will flip because I'm so done with it. Like, it's been 10 years. Actually, it's been longer because this is Hollywood Stunt Driver 2 and another show before that. We don't need more cars doing burnouts and donuts. Give us a proper show with stuntmen and pyrotechnics and some real kind of movie magic. Like Waterworld is the classic example. Give us Waterworld. Obviously not literally Waterworld, but something along the lines of Waterworld. That's what we want. King Claw, testing, at full swing, theming's going in. I expect it'll be open by maybe even before December. So that's exciting. Good to see. What else is going on? Big Banana. They're looking at what the enthusiasts want. Yep, they are, which is good. They're paying attention. I hope they're paying a lot of attention because the park needs a lot of attention. I am scared for Superman. Tragically, I think, guys, I'm going to say it, and I said it on Total Maloney. Don't be shocked if you don't get to ride Superman Escape ever again. Because from a business perspective, I think it's not a wise decision to keep pouring money into a ride that's going to keep breaking down, knowing that it's going to cost you just as much money the next time because they don't make those parts anymore. Intamin doesn't support that model anymore. You have to get every single part that you need manufactured from scratch. So, like, you know, it broke down 18 months ago. Now it's broken down again. Do they really want to spend another $1-2 million maybe? I don't know if that's exactly how much it's costing, but potentially $1 or $2 million just to maybe get it another 18 months and then it breaks down again. Like, yeah, like, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm really hoping I'm wrong, but I would not be dreadfully surprised. Have I seen any of the big koalas from between Coffs Harbour and big koalas? Between Coffs Harbour and Newcastle? You mean like along the Pacific Highway? Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. They should replace stunt driver with a nuclear warhead. Cool, if it flattens the park, I'm happy with that. See you later, Natalie. Have a good one. Toby, I'm probably going to the Gold Coast with my family in January. Which park should I go to? If you haven't been to any of the parks before, that's a hard one. Are you a coaster enthusiast or a theme park enthusiast? If you're a coaster enthusiast, go to Movie World. It won't be the best theme park experience, but they do have the better coaster lineup. If you're a theme park enthusiast, go to Dreamworld. At the moment, it's way better. It's so much better. Scaretastic, you can sleep knowing Superman won't return? Gold Coaster I can understand. Like, I like Gold Coaster, but I get why people don't like Gold Coaster. So, you know, I would be sad, but I would get why people would not be. But Superman is like, come on, man, that's like one of the best, so good. It's one of the best rides in the country. To be honest, I hate the launch since I'm small and headbangs in the launch. Just keep your head back then. Put your head back. That's why they tell you, put your head back, head back. You can't head bang backwards if you have your head back. Yeah. No, that's the best part of the ride. The launch is the best part of the ride. Superman does need better restraints, though. I will agree with you there, because the hard over-the-shoulder restraint does chop when you go around those lateral moments. If they're going to renovate the ride, I would hope that they would get new Intamin trains, too. Removing Superman entirely will cost more than retrofitting with LSMs. Possibly. I would need... See, the thing with demolishing rides is, yes, it's expensive, but you can get anyone to do it. Because as long as you're not selling it to somebody else, it doesn't matter what you do to the ride. Just get rid of it. like cut it into pieces. So you can hire a local company to do that. Manufacturing new ride parks is expensive, and I would assume they want new trains. That's a couple of $1 million right there per train, like one and a half million. So you know, and then the LSMs will be another bunch on their own. I assume they'd need to do some sort of like retrofitting of the whole ride operating system as well. Yeah, you could be right. I feel like maybe not by as much as you think though. Projected Bear's having favorite midnight snack, and why is it eating shredded cheese from the bag like a goblin in the night? I mean, that's just the correct answer. I'm lactose intolerant, and that's still the correct answer. Also, I am a massive sucker for cooking sausages in the middle of the night. Don't know why. They just hit the spot, and they don't take very long to cook. JGS, I think non-enthusiasts scared of arrows since Final Destination 3. Fun fact, that wasn't an arrow. That was a Vekoma. That ride was a Vekoma. Same track design though, so yeah, basically. But like, really? It's a very common track design. I last went to Movie World this year, SeaWorld in 2023, and I haven't been to Dreamworld since 20... Yeah, definitely go to Dreamworld then. Dreamworld since 2013. I don't know if you know this, but it's been through a lot. It's been a wild ride for Dreamworld since 2013, and they have come out the other side much better for it. So yeah, get yourself to Dreamworld. Haven't gone in years, so maybe it's just my experience. Yeah, as long as you keep it, like I can understand with the Accelerate, it does hit very suddenly. So like, yeah, if you had your head forward, you'd slam your head back for sure. But like, it's very good. I don't think the LSMs will have the same kick in the launch. Yeah, they won't. Which makes me think that if they are gonna do the LSM thing, they need to change the layout. Because honestly, that same layout with a less good launch would be pretty mid, to be honest. Honestly, the layout is already kind of mid. It's just the fact that the launch is so good, and then you have enough speed for it to be like ejector airtime moments. It makes it great. So I feel like losing that launch would be a big kick to that ride. It teeters right on the edge of being great. And if it lost one of the things that makes it great, it could very much tip back into being a very mid ride. A bowl of cereal, oh, actually, yeah, a bowl of cereal does hit the spot. Oh. That's another thing that I'm lactose intolerant, but just the milk, a cold milk in a bowl of cereal, oh, so good. Crunchy nuts, all right. I'm a fan of Chex. The way they soften, the texture, something about that. Josh, I could definitely see Movie World replacing Superman. It goes down so frequently, it causes them headaches. It'd be sad, but could also be interesting for Movie World to get something new. I agree. I want them. We mentioned on Total Maloney the possibility of a Mark Extreme spinner. That would be really cool. A new launch coaster from Intamin would be really cool. I feel like there's room there for them to do something interesting with it and something fun with it. And it would be sad, but you know, it's going to happen. I don't think they can keep pouring a couple $1 million down the drain every 18 months just to keep it going. Like, it's got to happen eventually. I should do a hot take stream. Okay, hot takes. Superman's going to close, and Movie World could end up being better off for it. Superman should replace Wild West Falls. So Movie World should replace Superman. Should replace Wild West. Movie World should replace Wild West Falls. What else? What's another hot take? Tailspin should get removed from Dreamworld. Shit ride. Bad ride. Taking up space. What does it do? Nothing. I don't have any hot takes from SeaWorld because the things I don't like at SeaWorld are just universally disliked, like Triton. Scaretastic, it would be interesting to see what they replace it with considering the space and also work around that annoying banana ride called Flash Speed Force. Hot take. I've got another hot take. Flash Speed Force isn't going to reopen. It's done. They're done. It's over. Game over, gang. They're going to demolish that whole area and flatten it out and build a new coaster. That's my prediction. Superman's gone. Flash is already having serious issues. They didn't spend that much money on it because they already had it. They just relocated it from Wet n Wild and chucked in some cheap queues. I think they just cut their losses. I think they just get rid of it. Because it's already like, they've had to pull the train to pieces. It's already broken. Yeah. It would not shock me if Flash doesn't reopen either. I reckon if Superman is gone, if Superman's dead, then Flash will be dead too. Because, like, it's just in the way of a good replacement. It's doing nothing. Whenever I went to the Gold Coast or ever been to Movie World, it just seems that Dreamworld doesn't have as much of a lineup, so it's not really worth it because Movie World never gets old. Movie World is getting old in front of our eyes. Everything there is getting old. Dreamworld's just in a better shape. Like, yeah, the lineup's not as good, but the park's just nicer. You'll just have a nicer day there. It's just a better experience at the moment. I'm not going to keep shit talking Movie World and acting like this is a permanent situation. Just in their current state, Dreamworld is better. My year 10 camp next year, we go to Movie World, Dreamworld, Wet n Wild, Top Golf, and Outback Spectacular. How do you get such good camps? We went to shitty little cabins in the middle of nowhere and did archery. Fucking, how do you get to... All that's missing from that is SeaWorld, and that's like a perfect holiday. Yeah, look, Rivals is better than anything at... No, Rivals is better than anything at Dreamworld except the giant drop. But as a whole park, you don't have to have a great... You don't have to have a coaster lineup to be a brilliant theme park. I would say, having not been there, a genuine argument for what is the best theme park in the world is Tokyo Disney Sea. And its best coaster is Raging Spirits. And ask Kieran if Raging Spirits is a world-class roller coaster. Because I know what his answer would be. Nighttime cereal does hit hard. JGS Wild West Falls should be removed and a new Blitz or multi-dimension coaster should be added. Multi-dimension coaster is a good shout. Actually, though, not one of the ones from Intamin. Oh wait, is it Intamin that makes... Yeah, the new ones from, like, Uncharted. That kind of one. Not like 13, like Uncharted. That kind of multi-dimension coaster. That'd be good for Movie World. I'd like that. If the Blitz is going to replace Superman, what I worry about is that people will compare the two too much, and obviously an accelerator is always going to be better than a Blitz because LSMs are just slower. I think Blake on Total Maloney had a really good idea with Mark Extreme Spin. I think an Extreme Spinner would be a great plot. Great in that plot. We've got to wait for the Christmas holidays and see if they will reopen Flash. Yeah. Actually, yeah, if we get to Christmas and Flash is still down, I would call it, I would say it's done. It's had its time. Yeah, if Flash sucked at Wet n Wild, why would it not suck at Movie World? Still to this day, I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they didn't put it at SeaWorld in the first place. Because at Wet n Wild, it just suffered. Because they didn't have any maintenance. All of the maintenance team at Wet n Wild are all water slide experts. So they would have had to, like, drag in people from their other parks to maintain Surf Rider. And then I remember they had the mist effects on it, and then that caused corrosion and then they had to, like, replace whole track segments on it. And it didn't operate for, like, years, and then I really thought they were just going to get rid of it. Yeah, I really, really thought they were just going to get rid of it. But they moved it to Movie World because, I don't know. Movie World needs another ride, I guess. My camp had big fucking swings. What was that place that had the big swing? And it was like, oh God.
I can't think of it. Yeah, like Kieran said,
Raging Spirits, mech coaster. But I would still say Disney Sea, potentially one of the best theme parks in the world. Up there with like Epic Universe.
what would I say are the...
Having not been to any of them, or many of them, what would I say are the best theme parks in the world? Probably Tokyo Disney Sea,
Epic Universe, Islands of Adventure, Fantasialand, Europa Park, what else?
If you're into coasters, probably either Cedar Point or Magic Mountain.
Hershey Park for coasters as well. Yeah, there's a few others. What could replace Motor Coaster? Mark Rocking Boat that's part of Rivertown, or a coaster
that stretches out into Rocky
Hollow. I've always said an RMC hybrid,
but I know that Greg doesn't like RMC.
SeaWorld has a lot of room for nice short rides like an Intamin Blitz. Where? I'm trying to think of where they have room for that. The corkscrew plot's still empty.
That's not a huge amount of land.
Like a Bermuda Blitz, maybe. What has the Sky Swing?
Is that what you're thinking of?
What was I talking about? Oh wait, no,
we were talking about Big Swing. No. There was a place that I went on one of my school camps that had like this big swing. And I cannot. Yarra Happany was the place.
Motor Coaster walked so Hagrids
could run. Motor Coaster crawled along the floor like a snail so that Hagrids could run. Motor Coaster lay on the ground drooling so that Hagrids could run.
You think it'd be worth it to completely
overhaul Wild West Falls, and by that I mean redo pretty much everything?
Yeah, I guess. Ride system's a little bit
outdated though. Like,
at that point, would you just build a new flume? What's your take on the Stardust races?
Look, it's too early to really say what happened because I don't think anything's really been released about what happened. I think they said that it's not a ride mechanism at fault. We know that the gentleman who tragically lost his life, and obviously thoughts to his friends and family, it was a wheelchair user. So I also, I hesitate to say anything, but that is also something that you have to consider whether that was a factor, because individuals who do have
differences in ability and medical conditions, it can be a risk
for them to go on roller coasters. But nothing's been released, so I can't really say for sure. All I can really say is, thoughts to
his family, and I will say I am relieved to hear that it wasn't a ride mechanism,
because that means
Stardust Races is probably okay. It's just going to be
a case of, was this Universal's fault, or was this something that was unavoidable, or was this something that was rider fault? That's up to the authorities to figure out.
A single rail could replace Motor Coaster as long as it has multiple train operations.
I've heard from Kieran, actually, that the Raptor is not great, and at least in terms of its trains. And also, I don't know if you've seen El Toro Ryan's latest videos about operations on Jersey Devil Coaster. And I worry because our operations are nowhere near as good as Six Flags Great Adventure would be. So I feel like we would run that thing like shit.
I don't really want an RMC Raptor. If we're getting an RMC, I want it to be a hybrid. Canada's Wonderland is...
Are you throwing that into the equation for best theme park in the world?
I'm actually going to disagree with you there.
mainly because I think it's a coaster.
A coaster park with a bunch of really shit coasters. Like, it's got some really good ones at the
Top, like Alpine Fury, Leviathan, Yukon Striker, Behemoth, and then below that, just acres and acres of shit. So I don't think so. I think there's a bunch of other of the ex-Cedar Fair parks that I would consider to be better than Canada's Wonderland. Like Carowinds is one.
I'd say Kings Island
looks better. Maybe even King's Dominion as well.
Yeah. Also, Dreamworld, we have an RMC coaster in Australia. Yeah. Just a decent sized hybrid. It doesn't even have to be huge. The old castle at SeaWorld has a lot of space. Yeah. Not for a huge coaster, but you could fit something in there. I'd like them to do a flume. Give us a proper flume. Sam says motor coaster is a world class coaster. Can I mute you? Yeah, put you in timeout. You have 5 minutes in timeout for your crimes. We've now decided that calling motor coaster good is a crime punishable by a 5-minute timeout. Toby, the other day me and my mate found the closest point to Fantasy Glades you could legally go and got a few pics. Send them to me. And maybe talking about it in a future video. Credit will be given. Fantasy Glades is a very interesting one. Yeah, weird park. Maybe an Intamin single rail. Yeah, as long as it's a good one, like Mahuka, not Big Dipper. Look, and have you rode an RMC before? No. Alas. So I actually had a trip planned. When I got sick while I was in Ireland, my next trip that I had planned, I was going to do one more trip before I left Ireland, and I was going to go to Belgium, the Netherlands, and then across into the west part of Germany for like Phantasialand and Movie Park and a bunch of other parks around there. So I would have got my first RMC because I would have gone on Untamed, but it didn't happen. Toby, I pay so much to get the Bermuda Triangle back. Me too, bro. No, I haven't ridden T-Express, and you know this, Roman, because I also missed T-Express. Went to Everland during its maintenance period because I'm an idiot. Josh, I feel like a Raptor would be better for a smaller park breaking into the thrill market, probably a bit low capacity for a Gold Coast park. Yeah, I know that they can have like the rolling station, which does help with the capacity a bit, but they are still quite low capacity. I keep hearing people say Gumbaya World should get one, but I don't see that. I don't think it's right for them. I think I'd rather see them get something like a family gravity group or a family GCI. That'd be much better. Scaretastic, I wore that same steel Taipan shirt when I was in line for Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. The ride attendant thought it was a man. Nice. God. I should talk about my upcoming travel plans. Because I'm going to some exciting places. I'm matching with Gumbaya World by Gold Coaster. I just imagine that from the perspective of Gold Coaster. It would be that'd have to be the first non-traveling coaster ever to operate in 3 different states of the same country. To go from New South Wales to Queensland to Victoria. But no, I don't think they will. It's like that coaster is huge. Like I know that it was designed for a narrow footprint on Luna Park, but it took up like 2/3 of the entire park. It's huge. I don't think Gumbaya World would be interested. It occupies too much space for what you get. Anyway, my travel plans. Coaster Odyssey is coming back, baby. I'm going in a month. Yeah. October 31st, I leave the country for about 10 days on a trip where I am also doing another video.
I am doing a video that I'm hoping to turn into a series in the long run called RCDB Roulette, where I go onto or I actually got a friend to go onto RCDB for me.
The random coaster that came up?
That's where I'm going. So
I am going to China in
30 days.
So I will talk more after I answer
These questions about the parks that I'm going to, because I'm going to some interesting ones. I'm going to be riding some weird coasters. Okay, so I think Sick at Flamingo Land was moved to like 4 parks and they only operated at 1. Yeah, it has a weird Flamingo Land in general. Oh my god, let me go on a Flamingo Land because
what a weird park.
open its RCDB page. Current coaster count 8 operating roller coasters. Defunct roller coasters 10. It has had 10 previous roller coasters that have closed at various times in the past. Let's look at Sick. So yes, Sick was at, it's never operated.
It had never operated before.
So it was at Hopi Hari. It was bought for Hopi Hari in Brazil.
Due to financial problems, Hopi Hari was unable to build this roller coaster after it was delivered.
After some years, it was sold to Mr. Federer, Roger, owner of Outlet Premium Sao Paulo, in a leaseback arrangement. The park was to use the sale money to construct the ride and then lease it from Mr. Federer. This did not go as planned, and Mr. Federer, perhaps tired of waiting, offered it up for sale. It was then sold to Movie Animation Park Studios in Malaysia, where it was in storage for 3 years, and then they evidently also decided not to build it, and then Flamingo Land bought it, and now it's there, and it's actually kind of good
for what it is. But yeah, they've got a bunch of weird shit that's happened at Flamingo Land.
Toby, do you still think Leviathan will slide down your list in the future? Yes. For context, so like I said, I'm in the middle of redoing my rankings, so I don't know exact positions at the moment. But Leviathan still at the moment is top 10, but Cuchulainn is like 25, 30-ish. So, and the difference is the roughness. Also, Cuchulainn does lose a little bit of pace in the second half, but
yeah. Roman, are you going to leak more about the potential domestic plans? No, not those yet. I'm not confirming anything about that until a later date.
Eddie, I would love the paddle steamer to return to Dreamworld. The tracks are still there, I think. I'd love that too. I'd love to see them at least do something with the Mississippi River again.
Heroes, the UK's motor
coaster. Agreed. Unfortunately, I went on it. It sucks. A launch shuttle would be good for Gambaya World. Yeah, as long as they did something interesting with it. I feel like the day of like just plain shuttle loops or like a Tower of Terror is long gone. You need to do something interesting with it.
Welcome back, Sam. No more crazy motor coaster.
Totally crazy to think including Kansas Twister as 2 coasters and Lethal Weapon. Movie World has had 10 coasters.
Yeah. More? Yes. Correct. Yes. Yes. Yes.
If you count Kansas Twister as 2. Yeah.
And if everything was operating,
they would currently have 9.
But unfortunately, that's not the case. I think a Woody would be good for Gambaya. They still got a lot of younger kids.
So they need rides that are crowd pleasers, something with airtime and not so many inversions to get ideal. Yeah, so Wood Express at Park St. Paul was
a real surprise for me.
It's really full of airtime, very compact little layout. It's not very tall, so it's not like daunting or anything for kids.
You can run 2 trains on it.
Really great ride. I'm pretty sure GCI do a similar thing if you wanted a bit of a smoother package, but yeah, fantastic.
Dude, definitely.
That's the coaster I'd recommend most for Gambaya as a family Woody.
You could add a ride to Dreamworld, but you could only
add from the other Gold Coast parks. What would you add? As in, okay, I need clarification. Am I taking the ride away from the other Gold Coast parks and moving it to Dreamworld, or am I adding a clone of another ride?
at Dreamworld. More like a flash, yeah, like a super boomerang would be good. In Aussie parks, you get a tilt coaster, doesn't matter which, but it will fit in all parks. Dreamworld should get one. SeaWorld maybe. I don't know how much land they've got for it. The only Gold Coast credit I don't have yet is a big red boat, and I'm too scared to ride. Sucks, man. It's pretty intimidating. Fun fact about Hero, there's a Hero clone in North Korea. Yeah. I dread to think what that thing rides like. Because, no offense to Mr. Kim, I don't imagine North Korea's ride maintenance is particularly world class. So I imagine it's not the smoothest Zampola Volare around. If BioWorld had the money, it would work well for the park. Sure. Yeah, I mean they've got a skyline already with Project Zero. Luna Park's an issue, grab an Exa. I found this great thread on parks because while I've been researching for the Aussie theme parks iceberg, I went back like 50 pages in parks because I was like, oh, maybe I'll find something from like 10 years ago that they were talking about there that like we've totally forgotten about now. And I found this thread where someone had edited the Wikipedia page of Luna Park Sydney to say that in 2015 they were going to get a B&M Big Dipper that was going to go out into Maloney's Corner and then out over the harbour. And someone actually believed it and posted it on Parks as news, and they got like so shut down. It was so funny. Can you imagine though, with all the noise complaints that they had in the with the Arrow Big Dipper? He got a B&M. It would have been sued out of existence. Yeah, there's a documentary by George Browning about the history of theme parks in North Korea. I saw it. It's a very good video. I saw someone in the comments for Iceberg, and it said about a Wild West Falls fire. Yeah. I'll talk more about it in the video, but yeah, 2003 there was a fire in the top of the lift. Or like the top of the mountain in Wild West Falls. Did a bit of damage, but it was after park hours, so no one was injured or anything. A clone. Okay, so if I can clone another Gold Coast ride and put it at Dreamworld. Well, they need a headlining coaster, but I feel like if they just cloned DC Rivals or Leviathan, it would be too. It would just be so obvious. You know what? Storm Coaster. They just clone Storm Coaster, but like do something better with the theming. But at least then they'd have a water ride. In terms of parameters, how many Luna Parks you fit in the land of pumpkins flight? It's probably like 5 times bigger than the entire entirety of Luna. Probably more. Was there ever a B&M coaster in this country? No, and I doubt there ever will be. They're expensive. Wild West Falls should just catch on fire again so it can have a refit. Yeah, maybe. Let's talk about where I'm going in China. Park reveals. Okay, so first park on the agenda. So I'm flying with Xiamen Airlines. So that means I have a stopover in Xiamen on the way to Shanghai. And I actually have a full day there because they changed I originally got my flight for the 1st of November, and then I would fly to Shanghai in the morning of the 2nd of November, but they rescheduled my flight. So now I'm actually flying out my 31st of October, so I have a full day in Xiamen. And Xiamen has an Oriental Heritage Park and a Fantawild Dreamland Park. So I'm going. The Oriental Heritage is the most exciting one because it has one of the Jungle Trailblazers. And if you don't know, they are big gravity group woodies that they built just all over China, just for no reason, just because they wanted a bunch of gravity group woodies, I guess.
It's not one of the really awesome ones. There's a couple of them that have an inversion and a couple of them that are like really super long. But it's a big old gravity grip Woody that's almost as long as Leviathan, slightly taller than Leviathan. So it's probably going to be pretty good. They have, and then the Fanta Wild, they also have a TNT clone at that park. And then the Fanta Wild Park next door has a Malra Skyloop, a Vekoma Boomerang, a Jinma Mine Train, and one of those little Jinma oval fruit worm coasters, which I don't know if I'm going to be allowed on because it's tiny, but we'll see.
Credit. And then I fly to Shanghai. The first park on the agenda, because it was the park that came out in RCDB Roulette, so, you know, I have to go because that's what RCDB told me, was Joyland, which is a weird park. I'm pretty sure it's a knockoff of Islands of Adventure. Like, the logo is directly copied from Islands of Adventure. But it has, so the coaster that RCDB Roulette came up with was Clouds of Fairyland, which is their Malra Skyloop. But they also have Starry Sky Ripper, which is a B&M flying coaster, and apparently one of the better B&M flying coasters in the world. So I'm excited for that. They also have another Jinma Mine Train. Then the day after that, I'm going to do Coaster Odyssey, which will be at 2 parks, because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do more. So I'm going to start the day at Suzhou Amusement Land Forest World, because they have Beyond the Cloud, which is a 200-foot mark launch coaster with the fastest inversion in the world. It's got this inline inline twist. I think it's an inline twist. It's an inline twist that is taken at how fast again? Like 126 kilometers an hour or something like that. It's ridiculous. Yeah, 200 feet tall, 5 inversions, incredibly whippy ride. And then also China Dinosaurs Park, obviously, because Dinoconda is probably one of the most intense rides in the world. Congratulations on your upcoming trip to China. It's definitely an interesting adventure. Be careful out there and have fun. I'm a little nervous about China. Not for like political reasons or anything. I'm nervous because it's very hard. I like to plan things. I like to know how I'm gonna do stuff in advance. So like, I like to go on Google Maps and be like, okay, here's how you can get public transport from my hotel to the park. China blocks Google Maps. So I'm kind of like, I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm doing. But it's going to be an adventure. If you're going to add a theme park to Australia, what like franchise or even theme would it be? Now, I don't want a franchise. I don't want a Disney or a Universal in Australia. I want a proper Australiana themed theme park. And I don't mean just like what Goodbye World does with like little bit of Aussie kind of larrikins in here and there, or like not even like what Aussie World does with like things being called the Redback and the Dingo Racer and all that. I mean, a real full immersive theme park with like indigenous theming and like a proper colonial area and a proper, you know, Dreamtime area, and like really celebrate what makes Australia Australia. Get some good theming behind it. China has some mental rides that look amazing, ignoring all the dodgy shit. Yeah, so I'll keep going with some of the other crazy stuff that I'm going on. China Dinosaurs Park, Dinoconda, obviously, SMS 4th Dimension. But they've also got a Zamperla motorbike coaster and one of those Jinma spinners that has an inversion. So I'm keen for that. China blocks everything, so you might have to upload everything when you get back. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. I do have a VPN. But I know that they block some VPNs as well, and I won't really know if my VPN is going to work until I get there, pretty much. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll make it work. I've got like WeChat and stuff, and Alipay, so I can get by. Like I'm not going to get stuck or anything. It's just whether or not I'm going to be able to actually do any uploading or like message people or anything like that is a mystery to me. We'll find out.
I haven't been to China since
2014, so I don't remember what it was like. And obviously that's like a decade ago, so things have changed. Obviously I'm going to Shanghai Disney. I'm going to Shanghai Haichang Ocean Park, which has Steel Dolphin, which looks like a pretty decent little Intamin LSM launch coaster. And then I'm going, on the last day, I'm cramming 2 parks into one day, which is Wuxi Sunac Land, because I had to get to a Sunac park. Wuxi Sunac Land has the world's tallest B&M wing coaster called Falcon, which looks insane. And it has a Blue Fire Clone, a Zamperla multi-dimension coaster. That could be good, or it could be shit.
And a ride called Surfs Up Duck Duck Goose, which is a water ride, but apparently it's a credit, so we'll find out. And then I'm also going to HB World, which I'm just stopping over there at the end of the day because it's got another wing coaster called Heaven's Wing, which is supposed to be really, really intense. And then I've also got a shitty Chinese spinner and a, what is this ride again? Oh yeah, just a family coaster. Yeah.
Awesome idea. Where would you put it?
Like what class of rides you have? Need a dark ride.
Need a wooden coaster. Need, obviously, like the dark ride has to be
really, really well themed. Honestly, I'd say probably ideally a couple dark rides, like a few different dark rides. Flume.
Yeah, a couple decent coasters.
Like,
doesn't need to be anything huge,
but I think I want the wooden coaster to be like the main attraction, and then maybe like some nice
little supporting acts, like a, I think something from Baconia maybe. Yeah, like it doesn't have to be huge.
Huge issue with indigenous theming is ICIP. It's copyright infringement system that protects indigenous related businesses and products to be hard to convince elders to approve parks. Does the ICIP protect?
Well, first of all, I would say actually,
if they were going to do indigenous theming, they should be collaborating with elders anyway. They should have elders input. Basically, it should be Aboriginal people or indigenous people should probably be writing the stories and putting together the artwork and the theme. You should have that.
Look, and what do you think Adventure World should do
next? Family coaster.
Or family ride.
Even if it's a flume or a dark ride, they need something in between because they've got like kids. They've got this great kids area. They've got a kiddie coaster. They've got Abyss. They've got a bunch of big flat rides. They've got their water park. There's like no dry rides in that family category. They need something there.
I'd say family coaster is probably the
best way to go about it.
Working from there, rightfully so, very
protective of it. They don't like it when it's done as a business and not as a showcase.
Valid concern, honestly,
because it's their culture.
It's their who they are. But
that's why I would say I would approach elders from the beginning in the development stage and say, hey, look, like we want to do this area in a theme park that is about celebrating indigenous culture, telling those stories. How do you want to do it? How can we do it respectfully? You write the stories, you make the
artworks. Like,
don't just do it on behalf of them and then ask for permission. Like, obviously, it's their culture.
Ask them how they want it to be presented.
And obviously, I would imagine they probably want that to include like authentic displays of whether it's displays of dance or artwork or whatever it may be. And hell yeah, include that, absolutely. It should be a celebration. Josh, Dynacon is going to be incredible. I want to do it so bad. You're blessed. The intensity of Age of Nike was so beyond anything else I've ever experienced. I wish there was more of them out there. Yeah, it's kind of sad that no more of them ever got built. I'm very excited to do Dynaconda. It's definitely not the one out of the 3 that I was expecting to be my first, but exciting.
A spinning coaster would be good.
Mark Spinner. Adventure World will feel imperfectly family or extreme. Mark spinners are good. The only
What
one
I've been on is
Euromere, which is a very weird one, so it's kind of hard to make a judgment on the model from that because it's just so
different from the rest. What was I going to say? Maura spinners are alright too.
Especially if you do one with a decent layout like Dragon's Fury at Chessington, really good. Roman, do more research on ICIP because they have all their rules about it laid out. I just don't remember them. I feel like there's got to be. I don't know the specific rules either, but they did the Dreamworld corroboree,
And they did.
They've done like collaborations and displays and that sort of thing in the past. I don't think they'd be totally opposed to the idea as long as it was indigenous artists and indigenous creatives that were heading the project from the beginning. Because, like you mentioned, they're protective of it because they don't want it to be used in an exploitative manner for business. They want, if it's used, they want it to be as a celebration and a display of culture. So I think that the best way to make sure that it is that is by saying it's your
project. You do it the way you want.
Hello Perth Theme Park Life, nice to see you guys. This new area that's been cleared right in the middle of Adventure World, huge limestone rocks, it'd be perfect for a family coaster. Is that where the castle used to be? I was just writing about that for the iceberg today, because I'm including the castle fire.
Yeah, I agree. If that's the area that you're talking about, that'd be a nice spot for it.
It's very central to the park, very nice looking little spot. It'd be great.
Sam, I'm asking a lot of weird questions, but what do you think is the next step for the Australian theme park industry?
Ooh, hard to say. For the industry as a whole, I don't see like where we go from here because we've got our big parks that are they're like well established. The Gold Coast parks.
Like I don't see them
getting. They're not going to get to like Disney or Universal level ever, but I think they're growing okay at the same time.
But then everywhere else, it's just little parks.
I think if the theme park industry was going to take a big leap forward in becoming better in Australia overall, I would say what needs to happen is a big park needs to be opened in either Sydney or Melbourne, because both of those cities are huge and they are tourist draw cards, but they're both missing a big park. Neither of them have a really big park.
Scaretastic,
The Six Flags park set to be built in 2029?
Where? Six Flags, new park, 2029. You're not talking about Kadia, are you? Properties, upcoming properties, amusement parks. Okay, the only one confirmed,
Or at least on Wikipedia, is Six Flags Qiddiya. So, I don't know, maybe you're joking. Perth theme park like Cracker where the castle used to be. Yeah, that'd be a great spot for a family coaster or some sort of ride.
Roman, what's the first Australian park fatality?
Are you asking? I know there was a person who fell from the Luna Park Sydney Big Dipper in like
19. Well, obviously, because it was the wooden Big Dipper. That's
pre-Ghost Train. So
what? That's not. Hang on, incidents. 1932.
There's actually two people fell from the ride. New Year's Eve 1932, a woman was improperly seated and not holding on, fell from Big Dipper and died in hospital the next day. I do have a feeling someone died at Luna Park Glenelg, which would be even earlier than that.
No, that wasn't Sydney. It was 1930. Wait, no, hang on.
That is Glenelg, 1932, because Luna Park Sydney was 1935. So yeah, Luna Park Glenelg 1932. Has Luna Park Melbourne? Because that's the only park we currently have that predates that.
History. Yeah, Nothing in there in Wikipedia. I think that might be it.
32.
What rides should Gumbaya World
Add next in terms of dry rides. Flume ride,
Another coaster?
maybe a Woody.
Yeah. Darwin has none or Hobart.
Tasmania had a coaster, and that's going on the deepest level of the iceberg because I struggled so hard to find out about this. I'm pretty sure the Northern Territory, well, actually,
No, I know for sure. The Northern Territory
is the only state or territory that has never had a permanent coaster.
Melbourne needs a good park more than
Sydney, in my opinion, I actually disagree because Melbourne has Gumbaya World and Luna Park, and Adventure Park is along just down the road. You've got fun fields, so you've got choice. You don't have anything big, but you have choice of small parks. Luna Park, Sydney, is the only park in Sydney. You've got Raging Waters, but only in the summer. And then the next closest for that is you have to go all the way out to Jamboree. So, yeah,
like Sydney needs something
better.
Wollongong could add a massive park.
Port Kembla factories are being demolished and investors are deciding what to do with the area. I heard.
Never mind. That's getting political. No, actually, no, it's not.
I heard that the Port Kembla factories are going to become a base for one of the subs that we're getting.
I thought that's what they were doing with that. I could be wrong. Universal Studios Sydney?
Yeah, I'd like it. I'd like to see it. We heard an Australian investor has started talking about possible properties and concepts of major US companies responsible for parks like Universal, etc. I hadn't heard that. That seems to happen every couple of years. Someone's like
starts talking to Disney or whatever. I don't think it will happen. Not soon anyway.
Because I think Universal's attention, Epic Universe is done now. Their attention's now on Great Britain. And it will be that, because Great Britain is not scheduled to open until like
2029 or something like that.
It's going to take a while. So I don't think they'll try to do anything else. Oh, they're also building that little park in Texas,
which is almost done, I think. Universal Studios Great Britain. When is that opening? Status planned? Yes, I know. Okay, it doesn't look like they have a date.
But I don't imagine it'll be open until at least the late 2020s.
Me and my friend agree that
Absolutely nothing happens in Darwin. Go to Crocosaurus Cove. So with the crocodiles. Need a better coaster park though in Melbourne? I agree. Both of them could use a new park. But in terms of which one needs it more, Sydney is more deprived of choice. Obviously it's going to, still funny how they keep thinking it happen. It could happen. I just don't think now's the right time because Universal are already doing another major resort project right now, and honestly, they've picked a better location. The UK is going to get way more traffic than we would. Disney,
I feel like they've got bigger
fish to fry right now.
In terms of their parks.
If Disney was going to build a new park, where would it go?
Because they've got Paris, Hong Kong, Shanghai,
Tokyo,
and then California and all that.
Honestly, if they were going to build a new resort.
Oh, they're building one in
Abu Dhabi, aren't they? I forgot about that.
Yeah, they're building one in
the UAE.
Because of course they are. So basically just one of the ideas
to think of, okay, yeah. Darwin is receiving a work part. I heard that too. 2031, there you go.
Apparently Devonport in Tassie
had a park. Yeah, was that serendipity? I think I've done that in a video before.
What are the potential
park changes you think will come with the 2032 Olympics? I think all three parks will try to do something for the season leading up to the Olympics because they'll want something relatively big and new there to draw crowds. The problem is that VRTP
might try and just do one big thing across the parks, rather than, because the problem is that 3-park pass. That 3-park pass is coming back to bite us. Because I think what they'll do is they'll go, if we build one really big good thing at one of the parks, then people will buy the 3-park pass and go to all 3 anyway. So maybe not all 3 of them will get something new. Dreamworld definitely will though, because they'll want to do something big. That might be when they do. That might be too far down the line for it to be the Gold Coaster replacement, because I think Gold Coaster is starting to get to the end of its days. Maybe that's when they do like a big water ride or like a motor coaster replacement. I don't know. And then I'd say Movie World does something new, probably a new coaster. I don't know. It's hard to say. We're still a long way away from that. Both Universal and I'm starting to get tired, so we might go to 2.5 hours and call it there. Both Universal and Disney have like 3 parks in Asia each. They're close enough that you might as well fly there. Yeah, that's true. Australia, the problem we have is that we're a long, long way from anywhere. Like, it's so expensive to fly here. And for what? Like, you don't really, yeah, it's kind of, I don't think we have enough, we don't have enough traffic. A Disney World or Universal will be a good investment to them if they open before 2032. Yeah, but then they just get, they do a Sega World. They'd get a bit of a rush of crowds. Because that's what Sega World tried to do. Sega World opened in '97, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get a big rush of crowds because the Olympics is coming," and then they never got those crowds. No one went to Sega World, and it was closed by the end of 2000. So yeah, it doesn't work. People coming for the Olympics come for the Olympics, and they'll do the typical things, like if it's going to be in Brisbane, so they'll probably go to the beaches and stuff like that. And I guess maybe Dreamworld and Movie World will see some extra traffic, but they're coming for the Olympics. They're going to spend most of their time going to sporting events. Wonderland was the last opportunity for Australia to have park chains, in my opinion. Maybe. But it didn't fail because the park failed. It failed because Sunway drove it into the ground after it had already left the chain. So, I don't know. I don't think it says that Australia is not a good place for park chains. Sam, did you also hear about the former Disney Imagineer making concept ideas for an Australian theme park? I heard that there's a guy that wanted to make one in Sydney. I heard that he then joined up with the guy that is trying to revive Wonderland, and that both of them have kind of got nowhere with either project at the moment. Eddie, it would be cool if Tassie had a proper park like Luna Park or Gumbaya. I agree. I'd like to see Tassie get something. It's still the only state I haven't been to. I've been to all of the states and territories except for Tasmania. And I sadly am probably not gonna go there, because it's a long way to go for me. It's a long way to fly, and if I'm gonna spend that much money on going on a holiday, I'm probably gonna go somewhere with coasters. So yeah, I'd like to go down there one day. What do you think of Big Brother being filmed at Dreamworld again? I'm withholding judgment. I don't think Big Brother is particularly relevant anymore. Let's just say that. Do you think King Claw or the Giant Drop will be better? I think it's going to be hard to beat the Giant Drop. It is, after all, one of the tallest drop towers in the entire world. So, But King Claw will be very, very good.
I imagine it will be top 3 at the park for me. Because at the moment my top 3 is Giant Drop, Steel Taipan, and either Jungle Rush or Sky Voyager. So I think it should easily beat Jungle Rush or Sky Voyager.
Never heard about the park itself failing.
But if it did get bought out like it was expected to, it would probably at least one more location by 2030.
Yeah, but like, I think it's hard to
Take that as a case study into whether or not it would work, just because
like, the reason Wonderland went
downhill is because Sunway deliberately drove it into the ground. Allegedly deliberately drove it into the ground. So because of the value of the land. So like,
I think
like, yeah, it's not good that it never expanded or never made another location, but the only reason it didn't is because it was allegedly sabotaged. So I feel like there's a case that maybe actually it could have worked because it was popular. Wonderland was popular.
the Gen X and Boomers will love
Big Brother at Dreamworld. I don't think they will. I think they're going to be very disappointed because I think that
the TV.
stations will be too nervous to make Big Brother as scandalous as it used to be.
And I think because it won't be
Scandalous. I think because they'll make it a bit more PG, like they did in the later seasons of the last revival of it.
No one will be interested.
Because you can see drama on social media every single day as much as you want.
For 24/7, it's right
There in your hand. You can see people fighting and bitching and complaining.
So I just don't think that people will
really give a shit. And I think that Gen X and Boomers who remember Big Brother for what it was when it was popular will be disappointed by it because it won't be as good.
Disney and Universal draw
Absolutely massive crowds. I just don't see Australia being able to do it. They could possibly do a small scale one like Singapore, but that's a big maybe for me. The big thing with Singapore and also with Tokyo Disney is that they are operated by different companies who have the license because the Sentosa resort that operates Universal Singapore is owned by, the name is escaping me, is it Genting? They also own Genting Skyworlds?
Let me just fact check myself on this.
Resorts World Genting, owned by the Genting Group.
Who also Singapore? Yes, Resorts World Sentosa
and Universal Studios Singapore. So it's actually owned and operated by a Malaysian company called Genting. And they just license Universal. And that's kind of why it works. Because Universal doesn't have to worry about it. They just let them use the Universal properties. And that's why it's also so different. That's why they have like Battlestar Galactica and the Jurassic Park Rapids ride instead of the Flume ride. Like it's run completely separately. Same with Tokyo Disney, although Tokyo Disney's situation is slightly different. I think Disney actually has a bit more say in what happens there.
So if that happened,
it could work, but I just don't think there'd be a company willing to do that.
I went to Tasmania for a robotics company's worth of runway roads when you there was a nice park, there was a dark water ride. Tasmania? Where in Tasmania? I'm trying to think of where you would have been. Singapore only has, 5-6 million people. Australia's like 28 million. We at least get a concept and possible design blueprints. Yeah, but Singapore, the difference is that Singapore is
like an international travel crossroads. Every flight into Asia stops in Singapore. That is one of the busiest airports in the entire world, and people just stay there.
That airport alone
is huge. It's absolutely huge. Really, so you can never, if you're flying from anywhere to Asia or to Australia or anything like that, there is a good chance you'll stop in Singapore, and Singapore is beautiful enough to be worth a stopover, so having a Universal there makes sense. The only reason you would ever fly into Sydney or into Melbourne is if you were going to Australia. So like far fewer,
less trafficked.
it's less of a crossroads.
Singapore's really condensed.
It's more surrounded by other Southeast Asian countries, which is more dense than Australia. Yeah. I mean, it is still a little bit out of the way from some of the other Southeast Asian countries like Thailand or anything, but it's a crossroads.
See the movie world hotel
Monstrosity concept. I don't know what's happening with it, but I think it's a good idea actually. I think they should build accommodation there. They've got enough attractions there.
More scary in your opinion,
Giant Drop or DC Rivals. Giant Drop. It's more intimidating. Should make a video like the Thunder River Rapids video if Wonderland Sydney was still open.
No comment.
How about DC Backwards versus Giant Drop? Giant Drop still, but that's a closer competition. It's in Launceston. Is this thing still open? Because I knew about Serendipity, but that's long closed. In Launceston. Penny Royal.
What is this? I never knew about this. Hold on, I'm going to come back to that. You also have to remember a lot of people
travel to Australia. No, they don't. Tourists per year by country.
A lot, yes.
But comparatively, so most visited countries 2025. So
tourists this year, or like
when was this data collected? I don't know. It says 2025, but that doesn't make sense because 2025 is not. Oh, no, 2024 visitor arrivals. We had 3.7 million visitors
in 2024. Singapore.
Let's do just Singapore.
Wait, this is 2022. Anyway,
wouldn't be that different. Singapore had 6.3 million. So Singapore had almost double the amount of tourists that came to Australia. And that's just Singapore. That's not including like Malaysia, which had 19 million.
Yeah, so it's
no context there. Like we don't get that level of tourism. It's too expensive. It's not that people don't want to come here. We're just so far from anywhere.
Do you think they'll ever use the Thunderbolt area for something else? I hope so.
I hope that they will use it for the Gold Coaster replacement. I'm hoping it's a coaster that goes out over there. Let me look at this
dark ride. The Matthew Brady dark ride.
Travel back in time to Van Diemen's Land. Jump aboard a barge and immerse yourself in the daring escapades of notorious bushra. I'm bookmarking this page, by the way. Matthew Brady in 1825.
A convict-themed
dark ride? It's got animatronics and shit and protections. What the hell is this place?
Baltimore Cruise, Cliff Climb, Golden Gemstone Mine. It doesn't look like it's a coaster.
It's a water dark ride, right?
That reminds me, I have to go to the Ginger Factory. Let me add that to my list. Ginger Factory and Penny Royal Launceston. Maybe I do have an excuse to go to Tasmania.
I will look at a POV a little bit later, but I want to wrap up the stream and go to bed soon. So I'll just get through these last questions and stuff. Toby, when I went to Dreamworld, I only remember going on 2 rides, Thunder River Rapids and the Wiggles Dark Ride. Wiggles Dark Ride was cursed as shit.
But then Singapore also has a universal
theme park. Yeah, but like I said, it's got double the amount of tourists coming into Singapore. And remember, Singapore's tiny. It's like, it's a tiny island. Like the whole city is on this little island. And they still get like double the amount of visitors that the entirety of Australia gets. So yeah, like it makes sense. You've got 6.3 million people coming into a city where you can just catch the train across from the airport to Sentosa in like an hour versus 3.7 million people coming into all of Australia where, you know, some of those people are going to Perth.
So, like, they're not going to the Gold Coast parks.
Or to, like, if they build Disney in Sydney, what about all the people that go to Perth? What about all the people that go to just Cairns or just Brisbane or just, you know, Uluru? Like, it's such a big country, so that 3.7 is also really spread out.
If Wild West Falls were removed,
What you think we should replace it? Another water ride, unless they were going to build a water ride somewhere else. I'd stick by my Mark Rocking Boat idea, actually.
one of the two,
Dreamworld or Movie World should get a Mark Rocking Boat. They absolutely should.
what alternatives from Qantas and
Version do you use for domestic flights and trying to find ways around their duopoly?
Sadly,
The biggest alternative.
so there's Rex, but Rex doesn't do all of the routes, and also they're
Kind of struggling at the moment. The other big alternative was Bonza, but they went bankrupt. So sadly, you don't have a lot of options.
go with Jetstar, because then at least
You're giving them less money.
on Google Maps and Earth you can see
See some old props in the Thunderbolts backstage area. Yeah, they've kept stuff. They've used that as storage for quite a while. I remember on Google Earth, you used to be able to see like the pieces of the reef diver and like the big prawn from outside the game site.
that was there for a while.
A bunch of the Rocky Hollow logs were sitting there for a while.
Yeah. Movie World has spots like that too. They're cool things. Sam, I don't think people will travel across the world
For Movie World or Dreamworld.
not just average people at least.
Yeah, they probably don't. But like the reason that people travel across the world to go to Australia is because of like the beaches or Uluru or the Great Barrier Reef or you know, road tripping the Great Ocean Road or going to Sydney, you know,
Bondi Beach and
that sort of thing. I don't think anyone's traveling to Australia just for a theme park. And the only way that they would do that is if we built like an epic universe style thing. And let's be honest, no one's going to do that because it's not worth it.
Not arguing with where
6 million people travel to Singapore with 5.9 million people living there. So Universal could be looking at what, around 12 million people that could go to their park. Yeah, but again, that's 12 million people in that city.
versus Sydney is like what?
5 million people, and it
Gets a small chunk
of the 3.7 that come to Australia overall. Like let's be really generous and say that a third of those people are flying to Sydney. Actually, let's be even more generous. Let's say half those people are flying directly to Sydney and not to Melbourne or to Perth or to Brisbane.
so you get like another
1 million. So you're still talking about only 6 million people.
like half of what Singapore gets. Yeah, see again you're saying 27
7 million people live in Australia. Yeah, but like a bunch of those people live out in Whoop Whoop.
like it's
Out of the 27 million, only like 5 million live in Sydney. Or
another 5 million in Melbourne.
Melbourne, another couple million are in Perth.
And those people aren't coming over.
Here very often.
Really don't have any GP who travel
Across the world for parks, it's mainly just one of the many places they'll visit. Yeah, like people do Disney holidays.
People do Orlando.
But just for the parks, I know that.
Plenty of people in Ireland love
Loved it because you can fly from Ireland to Florida really pretty cheaply. And they love doing the Orlando theme park trip where they'll do like Universal and Disney and SeaWorld.
but yeah. Like I know people do Disneyland
Holidays, Orlando holidays,
that's about it.
like
You do regional
theme park holidays, like people in Ireland would go like to Portaventura. I knew a few friends who were going to Portaventura for a holiday.
I knew one who went to Europa Park.
Park specifically for a holiday. And these were not enthusiasts, by the way, these were GP.
But again, those are like
Cheap flights, because you're in Ireland, you just fly Ryanair, it's like €30. AFK, what do you think of people blaming Dreamworld's newer rides as unsafe because of the Thunder River Rapids tragedy? They're stupid. They're dumb.
It's like saying that Luna Park is
well, no, not quite. Look,
Dreamworld is safer now.
now than it ever has been, or at least has been in the last 20 years, because what that inquest revealed was that Dreamworld had been unsafe for quite a while. It exposed a lot of things about their maintenance practices, and in the 10 years since, they've been forced to change it, and they have changed it, and they've done a really good job of that. Plus, also, the new rides that they're adding are like brand new state-of-the-art rides from Intamin and Vekoma and Mark rides. That's far safer than a Rapids ride that Dreamworld built themselves in-house. Way, way better safe.
Australia should start controlling
Where tourists go. What are we, North Korea?
controlling where tourists go.
They put more stuff east along the coastline, more people would travel to East Australia. Don't like the majority of tourists travel to the east of Australia.
Make it better for larger companies looking to invest.
Invest in Australia. Australia's problem is
Really simple. It's urbanization. We have
Sydney and Melbourne that are so packed with everything that house prices are skyrocketing, and they need to add more. They're constantly needing to add more housing, more development all the time, because there's more and more and more demand for places to live or to stay in Sydney or in Melbourne. And so yeah, to an extent I agree with you that they need to invest in making other parts of Australia more appealing, but the problem is that if you invest millions of dollars into building something in
Grafton and then no one goes, you just run out of money.
there's no like safety net, you just go bankrupt. So like, why would you,
Unless you have the guarantee.
guarantee that people are going to come there, and which you can't really do, because unless you're Disney, then
Yeah, it's not going to happen. The only safe bet,
if you're only even moderately safe bet if you're trying to build a relatively large tourist attraction in Australia, is Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane Gold Coast area. Everywhere else is a bit of a risk.
my advice if you want to go to Disneyland is just
Buy a plane ticket to Tokyo and go to Disneyland. Don't bother waiting for Australia to get one, because it won't happen. 100% agree.
Tokyo is your best bet. Hong
Kong's
Kong.
also, I've heard, pretty good. I'm going to Shanghai. Should be fun. It's not going to be that expensive. The flights cost me like $600 return.
Easy. Yeah, we're not going to get one.
We're not going to get a Disney or a Universal.
The best that I could
See, is let's see how this Universal Kids Resort in Texas turns out, because it looks like it's a much more small, low budget park. If that turns out profitable for them, I reckon they'll scatter a few of them around, because they're not that expensive to build, and they'll turn out to be relatively successful for them. But the problem with those is that they are targeted at kids. So, you know, the two coasters they've got are like a Zero kiddie coaster and the Coma one? I forget.
We've got a Zero and a Universal Kids Resort. Just go Texas. And a Mark Rides one.
Yeah, they're both family coasters.
Are you planning anything for when
You hit 10k subs. Maybe, I don't know.
I have no idea. I haven't even
Thought about it. Merlin have a lot of attractions in Australia, but no parks, which is so weird. Yeah, Merlin kind of went all out with buying a whole bunch of shit, and then they
didn't really do anything with it. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream there.
that was good fun. I will be doing these at the end of every month,
Just as a way to kind of
like
engage and like chat with
with people, answer some questions, talk about what's going on with the channel, and talk about what's going on in the world of theme parks as well. So thanks for joining, everyone. There's a new video premiering in a couple of days on the Gold Coaster, and then hopefully the Iceberg video will be coming out maybe next week.
A lot of research
to do for it. So I will,
I'll leave you for now. I'm absolutely exhausted.
Thanks for joining, everyone, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye. I have to go around here to turn off the stream because, yeah.
Womp womp.